Indie wrestling fans, are you curious to find out what we know about Cold Fury? Well, you're going to find out as we break down Chaotic Wrestling's big event of the year here on Ring Respect Radio. And we're going to say, boom, just like that. It's Thursday night, and that means it's party time with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man sitting right beside me, he's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Woo, happy Thursday to you, Munson. Happy Thursday to Ed Fries, our special guest tonight.
Yes.
And a happy Thursday to all the wrestling people out there.
Yes, good evening to Ed, our special guest, joining us here, as always, 3 years back-to-back, doing the Cold Fury reviews. Ed, you just got off stream earlier with Peggy doing Marvel Talk. Now you're here with us. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm going to have to fill my water at some point, but so far, so good.
Sounds good. Well, we'll find a perfect water break matchup for Ed, or we could even start by talking a little bit like we do. As always, we are the Video Bros, and we do Prairie Pro Wrestling. So we're going to do a little drop for Prairie Pro Wrestling because, yes, we are less than a week away. It's about, or not less than a week. Sorry, my apologies. Less than 2 weeks away. Next Saturday, the April the 4th, we are going to be having PPW Presents Resurrection. Yes, Resurrection from Prairie Pro Wrestling. Make sure to get your tickets. We are selling like crazy. I'm telling you, Papa Smokes. I'm pretty sure the seats are all sold out now. The general admission are flying off the shelf. Everybody wants to be packed inside that building on April the 4th. It's going to be great at the Cosmo Hall. And you know who's going to be there? This man right here. He's almost always there. He's there rocking it out with Bass Jr. Basser's in the house. But Papa Smokes, you got to be excited. You know who else is going to be there? The Mangler will be there and always here with us on a Thursday night as well, too. Also to see matching blue. Oh, yeah, look at this. Matching blue shirts. This wasn't even planned here. That's good call. Good call. Love it. But yes, Papa Smokes, PPW, are you excited?
Extremely excited for Resurrection. Less than 2 weeks away on another Saturday night at the Cosmo Hall, just off Broadway. And hey, we had a little, we were just thinking that it might be spring finally here in Western Canada. It isn't. We just got a fresh blanket of snow all over everything. But you know what that blanket of snow isn't going to cover? The enthusiasm of the PPW Nation. They will be out in full strength. They'll be lining up at the door. They'll be filling the venue. They'll be getting beers, White Claws, Jacked and Juicy beers, all the rest of it, and I can't wait to see everybody again and to be part of the PPW action.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. And before we even start doing our review, I also wanted to bring something else up and kind of do a bit of a cheers here tonight. I've gone and got myself a bit of a drinky drink here tonight to share along, but I did want to give a special shout out. And yes, hello to Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, our friend Blair from WPW Winnipeg Pro Wrestling's commentary team, also the Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast. Go check them out over on YouTube. But Papa Smokes, I'm here to celebrate you, my friend, tonight. I want to give you a very special shout out and a very special cheer for all of your hard work. Papa Smokes, I can't think about how far it goes back, but what I can do is let you know that officially tonight is 165 consecutive weeks of Papa Smokes on a Thursday night here on Ring Respect Radio. Papa Smokes, it's unheard of. Congrats to you, man. Cheers, brother, for all of your hard work and dedication.
Well, hell yeah, Munson. Thanks to that. I wondered what the streak was at because I know it's been pretty long. I've been grinding away on these Thursdays. We've been all grinding away. All the great podcasters on Ol'Ed podcasts. I love it. I'm willing to do my part in any way I can. Did you say 165 straight?
Yeah, 160 for you and 165 straight. Now,
too bad.
I know that Bastard saying cheers to Bobby. No, I can't even take any credit, my man. I actually missed exactly 2 years ago to date. I missed a Thursday night, and Ed Fries over there stepped in to talk Cold Fury with Papa Smokes, which is what kicked off the Cold Fury reviews right here on the channel. So yes, and I think there's no better time to segue into it, guys. Let's talk about Cold Fury 24, Cold Fury 2026. Ed, I want to start with you. Just talk a little bit about Chaotic Wrestling for anybody who's not familiar just yet, and a little bit of the area as well too, where the shows are held, all that kind of stuff, fun stuff.
Yeah, so Chaotic Wrestling is one of the Northeast New England USA territories. They run primarily out of the Merrimack Valley-ish area. They run Lowell, they run Watertown, Tewksbury, a variety of different towns. They're adding Malden. They're doing the Boston Brawl in a couple weeks at the Exeter Academy, which is ironically the school where Brad Cashew teaches wrestling at that school. He's the coach of the wrestling team.
Good Lord.
Yeah, which is always fun. But yeah, this one happens to come out of the Lowell Collegiate Charter School out of Lowell, Massachusetts. It is the gymnasium area, which I love for an indie show, having that, they have the seats, which are easy to sell out, but then you get that extra added bit of availability with having a bleacher style. So you can sell those cheaper, general admission seats so that families can really come out and enjoy themselves, because you don't have to pay, some indie shows are $60-$70 a ticket. I love that Chaotic. It's like, there are some in the area here that run some of the big name independent talent that come through and that are $60 and plus a ticket.
Wow. Okay. Just so you know, $30 for seats at PPW, $15 for general admission. Just letting you all know.
Chaotic's big show is $35. So for Cold Fury, you're paying $35 for the front row, $25 for the second row. Seats beyond that, I believe, are $20, and then general admission is like $15 or $20.
That's fantastic.
And that's the expensive show. That's the expensive show. Like that's their. Well, I mean, with the exception of the show we're not going to talk about that happened a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, that's for their normal shows that air on their YouTube channel. That is how they operate them.
Fair enough. No, that was a great introduction, and their prices are very reasonable. I got to say that for sure.
Yeah,
that's always been a thing in the territory system too. Is it's advantageous to run high school gymnasiums because you can get the promoter can get them for cheap. You can do the publicity. You can get the students to help out with the publicity, and then it helps the school to make some money. They don't get many chances to make money in the private sector outside of the school system. So to host events like this, it's advantageous on both sides. It'll work out nicely for the school and for the wrestling promotion.
Yeah, 100%.
And again, it's also, it helps with burnout in the marketplace, because if you're going to run shows, Chaotic typically runs on a 2, maybe a 3 week at most frequency. I know you guys run on a less frequent basis because you run the same venue, time in and time out. You guys run basically the same venue. Whereas with them, they're moving venues, but to avoid burnout, the low ticket prices help to make sure that you can continue to keep going and going and going. It helps, the ticket price level helps create fans that are going to constantly keep coming to your product, because you can go to 5 or 10 Chaotic shows for the price of one WWE show and they come to town.
Yeah.
So
and that's a big bonus.
Ed, can I ask you, so Chaotic runs at least one show a year in Boston, in the actual city, but these other ones in Lowell and Watertown, etc. How feasible would it be for someone living in the Boston area to travel to all these shows? Is there much distance between all of them?
They're all within an hour of each other at the most.
Okay.
Like, it's 10 minutes for me to get to, it's about 10-20 minutes for me to get to the Lowell shows. The Tewksbury show is about 15. I've not gone to the Watertown show, so I don't know how far that is, but if you're in the city, that's even closer. But like, let's put it this way. They ran Cold Fury in the middle of March. They're running Friday, April 3rd. They're running Lawrence, which is a new venue for them. They're running that on the 3rd. On the 17th, they're going back to Tewksbury. On May 1st, they're going to Watertown. And on the 22nd, they're going to East Boston.
Okay.
So in the span of 2 months, there are 4 shows. From the beginning of April to the end of May, there are 4 announced shows that they're running. And again, that's not that, like, that's big for an indie company, because indie companies don't typically run, with the exception of places like Beyond. You don't get to run, basically bi-weekly shows. I mean, Beyond runs 2 shows weekly every week, which is crazy. But Bobby, could you imagine trying to produce a wrestling show every week, every Monday, every Thursday. Could you do
Yeah,
that?
it would, could I? Yeah. Like do I want to? No, that's the better way of putting it. It is very possible. In fact, I'll tell you, like when we run Prairie Pro, I take those 2.5, 3 hour shows, I have them edited in one evening. So I could do it essentially, but I don't want to do it because it is strenuous to sit here at a computer and do it all the time. And cheers, Eric, in the house here. Thanks you for joining us as well too. But
so talk about the prices real quick again. I just want to I pull up their next show. So the show Total Chaos in Lawrence coming up. They have front row seats for $25. Nice. Second row seats are $20. The floor seats are then $18, and the general admission is $15. So the difference between general admission in front row is a $10 difference.
I would probably regularly go to shows if I lived in the area. Honestly, like that's reasonable pricing for an independent wrestling production, especially at the level that they put it on and the depth of the roster that you guys have at Chaotic Wrestling. So I think that's more than fair to be asking that kind of price.
And remember that you're basically using the talent on your shows. Like it's not often that we're bringing in big, like so many indie, and again, this isn't a bad thing, but indie promotions bringing in big name talent. It costs a lot of money, which then in turn makes you have to charge more for tickets because you have to be able to pay the talent. Unless you're shiesty companies that don't want to pay their talent, which is another problem in and of itself. But like, so you have to use the talent. Like Chaotic really does the best of making their talent the stars. Like I was talking to our friend Peggy. There was a wrestling promotion that we were talking about. I think it was AAW. And they had a poster for their show. And the entire poster was all of the big name talent they're bringing in. Richard Holiday, Mike Santana, the Hardys, Cross and Scarlett. And I'm like, that's great. But why on nowhere on this poster do you have the people who work your show week in and week out? Yeah. Like every time you run an AAW show, you should be promoting that talent. And again, that's me from the outside looking in. I'm not somebody who runs these promotions. So you, Papa Smokes, Blair from Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, you guys can give me a much better idea. Yes, you want to market the people you're bringing in to sell the tickets. I get that. Oh, yeah. But you should also be marketing your talent too, as much as you can.
I mean, I can say it right now. PPW, we haven't brought in anyone other than within the area and stuff like that, other than when Amir Jordan was traveling through and came with some of the team from Alberta at the time. We didn't really go out of our way to do it. And the reason is we also want to be the ones to help make some of those next stars. So we have an academy for a reason. We want to be able to promote the ones coming out of that academy. And speaking of which, we will mention that we have a special guest next week and might be tied to the PPW Academy. Stay tuned later in the show. We'll let you know what that's all about. But yeah, I think that it should be that way. You do have to promote who you're bringing in. I mean, Blair will be very familiar with this, with Winnipeg Pro bringing in some big names as of late, really, and including Mercedes Monet being the Winnipeg Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. That can be defended. I mean, I don't want to give spoilers to Papa Smokes. I don't know if he knows who she's going to be defending against just yet. But,
yeah, I do.
Yeah, the Voyager Cup was a banger, but yeah, again, everyone does want the spoilers. Cover your ears, but Monet going to be taking on Jody Threat, defending the title at Fight at the Museum. So that's going to be a very interesting battle there. See who ends up coming out on top. What's that?
I said, let's go, Jody.
Yeah, let's go, Jody. No, this was the match before. This is who Monet took the belt from in the first place, and it was a great match last time out. So see what happens second time around. Let's go. Is Prairie Pro Wrestling on YouTube? On YouTube, Eric. Yes, you can find Prairie Pro Wrestling over on YouTube. We release a new match every single Saturday. Pop Spokes and I on the commentary, so definitely feel free to go check us out over there. But let's get into some of the action from Cold Fury. Let's start talking about the matches here, gentlemen. The card opens up with what I felt was one of the best matches of the night, hands down, especially if you want singles wrestling action. Here's the crazy part. The Panoptic Championship is on the line. A lot of the times when we've done these reviews with you, Ed, the Panoptic Championship is on the line in these scramble matches where we've got multiple people involved here. But champion Shannon LeVangie defending against Becca, the inaugural Optic champion in one-on-one action. And these two ladies really put on a very strong wrestling match to open the card. Pop Smokes and I often talk about the first match on a card, how strong it needs to be in terms of getting the excitement with the crowd going and everything like that. And these two ladies didn't fail. This didn't need any of the moments that, commentary reminded us how much of a badass Shannon LeVangie is in here, about the time she's gone off ladders, through doors, and through all these crazy things she's done. But none of that was required on this day. Shannon LeVangie went out there to defend well. When it looked like Becca had the victory coming her way, LeVangie turned it into a submission hold and actually tapped Becca out. And I was also surprised at the beginning of the match to see Becca actually showing sportsmanship towards her opponent, kind of, a little bit of a, understanding that these two ladies are two of the top when it comes to chaotic wrestling. What a great way to start things off. I'm going to go to you first here, Papa Smokes. Your thoughts on this opener?
Yeah, again, we've talked about the importance of the first match on a card. I like this one, just a pure one-on-one match. Get the ladies in there, got a belt on the line. So this is where you might want to put a preliminary match. They've got an actual hot match starting off first here, and you're going to get the crowd in on it. Becca comes out to a smooth, slow jam, a new song that I haven't heard yet. On Becca, on God, I'll make you wish you had this hot bod.
Oh, you haven't heard that one yet?
I was going to say, that's been her theme for a couple of years now.
Okay, maybe I have then. But another line that I liked in this song is she said that her eggs are fertile and healthy. Wow. Don't know what's going on with Becca, but it sounds like everything's good in her world.
Yeah.
Smokes, I've got a YouTube video for you to watch when we're done with the show. Hold on.
Sure. Okay. I've heard a few songs that she's come out to, including the Hot Humid Summer or whatever it was called from a couple of years ago. But at any rate, Becca comes out to the jeers of the fans. Very cool leopard print gear that she's got on. Shannon LeVangie has long been one of the most popular wrestlers in chaotic, not just ladies wrestlers, but wrestlers, period. Becca constantly works the crowd as a heel. She's excellent. She understands how this all works. She works a heel style, lots of stomping, kicking, gouging, that sort of thing. There was one move that kind of had me scared for a moment there. LeVangie had Becca in what I would call the beginning of an Alabama slam position with the legs over the shoulders, but then she did a backwards pile driver. Whew, that looked like that could have hurt and could have been dangerous, but everything seemed to be okay from that one. And only a 2 count. Becca's got some nice moves off the ropes, but Shannon LeVangie is dangerous off the ropes. Very skilled aerial wrestler. Eventually, she transitions a pin attempt into an elbow bar, arm lock kind of deal, and gets the tap out submission. Very nice match. 13 minutes approximately. Your crowd is warm. They've seen a nice ladies match for the Panoptic Championship right off the bat. There you go. First match served its purpose and did very well here.
Sure did, yeah. Over to you, Ed.
Yeah, I love this. I had the distinct honor. I know I didn't get to mention this to anybody in the Discord at all. The last time I went to a chaotic show, it was Shannon's first time with the championship after she won it. And she ended up calling out as an open challenge and ended up being a 4-way. I had the distinct honor of sitting next to her mom and dad, which was really cool. And they were very, very excited. And Shannon came over and gave them a hug. So she's right there. I love Shannon LeVangie. When I went back to Chaotic for the first time since the pandemic, she was the first wrestler I saw going back to the indies after the pandemic, when I took a break from going to indie shows after all of that. She's become a favorite of mine. I love the whole troublemaker. I love the relentless turn that she's had now since she's come back from her injury. She's no longer a troublemaker. She's now relentless, and how they incorporate that into her wrestling style, into her gimmick. I like the idea of her having Paris Bandel here, because if you watch Chaotic, you don't know they're friends, because they've always been at odds with each other on the chaotic side of it. However, everywhere else in New England, they work as a tag team for the most part when they work together, and they work as a team called the Brats. They're basically like those brat dolls that you will have seen kids running around with. But that's their whole gimmick, is that they're these uppity brats that just, they're all about themselves. It's basically the Paris Van Dale character, but transitioned onto Shannon LeVangie. Seeing Shannon work as a heel is fantastic. I miss it. I wish Keegan would embrace that a bit, because the heel Shannon LeVangie is fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, when is Paris going to turn on her? Because the only reason I feel like you have Paris out here with her is to have the Paris turn. I hope they do the pivot and they don't turn Paris, and I hope they turn Shannon. I'd love to see heel Shannon with that championship being mad at Paris for costing her something and really going after her that way. But in the end of the day, after a 5-minute Becca concert that was 4 minutes too long, we had a great match and I enjoyed it.
Fantastic. I love how you ended with that as well, too. Well played, Ed. But yeah, it was a great way to start the show. Next up on the card, we had the Chaotic Wrestling New England Tag Team Champion, or the Tag Team Champions was the next matchup. This was a tournament finals, and we had the Vegan Society, Seabass Finn and Sean Vegan Keegan, with Luke Varnas taking on the Shooter Boys, Aaron Ortiz and Anthony Vecchio. I want to this was solid, but I also want to go to you right away, Ed, because I want a little bit of background, because I didn't keep caught up enough to know what went on with the tag team titles, why we got here to this point in this final.
Yeah, so this is an easy one. At the last time we were with Chaotic, at I believe it was Breaking Point that we covered, we had the All Out Ladder War, where the Powers of Influence won the tag team championships.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Jose Zamora went to Puerto Rico shortly after that, and unfortunately, he injured his shoulder. He dislocated the whole shoulder. It's in real bad shape. He's had surgery. He's on the mend. He's seemingly doing very well. I've been keeping up on his social media. He's a wonderful young man, and his social media now is really interesting, seeing as he's not in the influencer role, and he's kind of just doing more of his own thing and being more of a bit of a baby face, which I think is real fun and interesting. However, when that happens, obviously they need to make a pivot with Chaotic. So they pivot away from DJ Powers with the championships, and they vacate the titles, and they have a tournament. The breadwinners are a part of this, which is the tag team of Cash McGinnis and Patrick Wheatman. And you had the Monarchy was in this. You had the OGs, the Chaotic OGs of Chase Del Monte and Trigga the OG. You had the unit of Danny Miles and JT Dunn being the former champions. Whole bunch of stuff. And the fun thing about this is that you have the Vegan Society, because Sean Vegan Keegan at one of the big shows to end the year defeated Seabass Finn in a match where if Seabass Finn lost, he has to become vegan and join the society. He has to put down the differences and become a tag team partner with him.
Tofu.
And it's really fun. And it's Tofu. Oh my fucking God. Oh, that name makes me cringe. I hate it. I hate it.
So funny.
It's such a good heel name. I love it. It's so good, but it's so awful. And of course, they're taking on one of my favorite tag teams here, the Shooter Boys, because I adore the Shooter Boys. These two they remind me of a young Steiner brothers. They're not as strong and as powerful as the Steiners, but the whole gimmick, the singlets and the whole clean cut babyface gimmick idea, which is what we see from them typically in the Chaotic side of things. Not always, not everywhere, but in Chaotic, they seem to work that style. And they work a Steiner style. One of them's high energy, high flowing, and the other one's a bit more technical wrestling savvy, a bit more. I love the two of them. The promo they cut in the video package beforehand was great to see, because you don't get to hear them talk very much. So to have them in that video package, and again, any independent wrestling promotion with a video package is going to get a thumbs up from me, because video packages are the one thing that independent wrestling companies don't do enough of.
You hear that, Munson?
Note it. I'm not calling out any particular independent promotion. I'm just saying that independent promotions that put the time and effort into a video package are a plus. Not saying you have to do it.
I do agree with you.
And again, like the companies, like, and again, I was actually calling out other companies. I wasn't even thinking of PPW when I
No, I know. It's all good. Don't worry, man.
But a company like PPW is the perfect type of company to do it because of the fact that you have so many matches that have a story, that you have these programs that go from show to show to show to show. Because so many independent promotions are who do we have that we can book and how do we book them in a match? And you don't have stories going from show to show to show. So you don't have the opportunity to really utilize a video package the way that Chaotic was here, where you have this story of this tournament that you can use. This match is my favorite match on the card, by the way. I love this tag team match. I think it's fantastic. These guys got me biting every time for every pin. I thought about 4 or 5 times the Shooter Boys won this match. I thought about 2 or 3 times the Vegan Society was going to win this match. I was rooting for the Shooter Boys, and they lost, which is fine because I expected the Vegan Society to win at the end of the day because the former champions were heels. So all of your plans that you've got, if Chase has got plans going for the future, he probably had baby faces booked to chase the powers of influence. So if you still have that plan, you're still going to have baby faces chasing the Vegan Society.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Papa Smokes, your thoughts?
Yeah, I also enjoyed this match a lot. It was a standard style tag team match, nothing fancy, no bells or whistles. But like Ed said, the Shooter Boys jump out at me too. They have that white meat babyface energy. Ed, you compared them to the Steiner brothers. I was thinking world's greatest tag team, same idea. Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, that sort of thing. All American boys, amateur wrestlers that have brought their skills into pro wrestling, can do the throws. One of the Shooter Boys did a nice double Northern Lights suplex to the 2 vegan guys. That was really cool. And they've got that babyface energy. Fought from underneath throughout this whole match and then ended up through the interference of the soy boy on the outside, end up taking a loss in this match, but really don't look any the worse for it. Shooter Boys will remain one of the top tag teams in the company, I would imagine, and the Vegan Society continues with a heel run with those belts.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this too. I thought it was great, high energy, great way to follow up after a great singles match opening up the card. And yeah, your heel tag team champions, it works. And I'm curious to see who goes up against them next. But at the same time, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing the Shooter Boys get another crack at the titles too. This match was that awesome. I think that they could easily carry this on and continue on with it. So, next matchup on the card. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we get there, the next challengers for this title are actually the Monarchy. It'll be Prince Jamari and Queen Ariel taking on the tag team champions at Total Chaos in Lars.
Well, I go Monarchy. Although the Vegan Society's on a bit of a roll right now.
Yeah, I have some bad news for you on that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about the Monarchy a little later on. Right now, we're going over to the Chaotic Wrestling New England Championship 2 out of 3 falls match. It's the champion Milo Mirra taking on Aaron Rourke. Man, this was a banger of a matchup between these two guys. Hard hitting throughout, high energy, good, solid work between the two of them. Very well polished. These two guys are at the top of their game. I wasn't bored at all through this. I mean, it had the standard 1 fall each type situation that you're used to in pro wrestling. That's a given in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Rarely do you see it go where someone dominates and takes the 2 falls. So great back and forth between them. In the end, we get the retention of the championship, stays with Milo Mirra. I like this one a hell of a lot. Pop Smokes, going to you.
Yeah, I like this also for the New England Championship. 2 out of 3 falls. Aaron Rourke is a very effective heel. He's got an intensity to him. He's got a little bit of a scariness to him. I didn't think either of these guys interacted with the crowd all that much in this, either positively or negatively, but the ring work was pristine in this. There was a nice chicken wing hold in this match, one of my favorite holds. Always like to see that one. The first fall going by disqualification was kind of interesting, but Rourke quickly tied that up to make it 1-1. Rourke continued with intensity, really looking like he kind of got that feeling across, like you could tell how badly he wanted this belt. You know, it's one thing to kind of show that desire to win the match, but you could see that Rourke was really, really like laying it in with those pinning attempts and all that. It looked like he really, really wanted to win this match against the man with the POGO. Of course, Milo Mirra, we've seen him a whole bunch of times, but Mirra hits 2 corkscrew moonsaults in a row for the pinfall in the third and deciding fall. Quite a good match for the third one in. It's for some gold as well. Fans were thrilled by this. A technically pretty much perfect ring match between these two, probably two that have wrestled each other numerous times over the years, putting on a good show for the fans. No question about it.
Yep. Over to you, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rourke is just what else can you say about the new WWE Evolve champion, Aaron Rourke? He wasn't at the time of this, but he is now. And again, I love the new heel look that we're getting from him because it's something we don't typically get from Aaron Rourke. Aaron Rourke typically works as that dime piece babyface, and to see the heel work here was fantastic. I noticed a lot more from Aaron than I do from Milo when it comes to the in-ring work, when it comes to the crowd work, because I think Aaron is so good at getting in and on the crowd. He's so good. There were a couple moments here where he really, like, he crotch chopped the crowd a couple times. He'd get up on the turnbuckles and kind of show off during his offense. Milo's great, but there's just something special about Aaron Rourke. And like I said, WWE ID'd him. He's now working as the WWE Evolve champion, being the only person to defeat Jackson Drake to win that championship. Now that Jackson Drake is going to be working solely on NXT now, as he's been officially called up to the NXT brand from the Evolve stuff. The ID program's working. That's the biggest key here, is that you've got going on is that the ID program that ID'd Aaron Rourke is working for him. And the ability to get him around the country and to get him at all these different shows and to do all the things that he does is fantastic. To get the falls the way we do, I thought were really good, with the utilizing the belt to knock down Milo Mirra to get the quick and easy pin to get himself back into it. I thought was really cute and interesting. It makes it a whole lot more fun and a whole lot more interesting. I don't think anybody wants a 2 out of 3 falls match where one guy gets both falls. I think like that'd be so weird that I don't think it would work. And I think the whole gimmick of a 2 out of 3 falls, yes, you can skip right to the part where it's just the final fall. But all of the in-ring work going into it makes that third fall in this match so much more entertaining. The fact that Milo is not necessarily like a student of Aaron Rourke, but Aaron Rourke was at the Chaotic Wrestling Academy a lot going into this. The New England Pro Wrestling Academy is a place where Aaron Rourke would get a lot of training in. And he's a slightly more veteran wrestler than Milo Mirra is. So when Milo was in there training with the Jariel Riveras in the site, Aaron Rourke was in there as a veteran, helping train, working with the coaches. So Aaron Rourke, he cut a promo last time I was at the show where he cut this fantastic babyface promo before he turned heel on Milo and beat him down and told him he's taking his championship, which led to this match. I thought this was fantastic. This was a great match. I don't know what it is about Milo Mirra as a baby. I love Milo Mirra as a babyface, but at the same time, I don't get into his matches the same way I did when he was a heel. Like there's a small disconnect between me and the Milo Mirra babyface character on the in-ring side that I just miss. There was something about him in the GGC. There was something about him in that tag team with Armani Kayos that was special and different. And there's something that doesn't come out of him when he's a babyface. And I don't know if it's a problem with me or if it's a problem with how his character is, but for me personally, and again, me personally, not saying he's not doing a good job, there's a disconnect between me and the Milo Mirra babyface character that I can't get over. But again, I will talk glowingly about both of these men all day, but Aaron Rourke is one of my favorites, and I'm so glad he's getting the publicity and the push and the WWE ID stuff that he's getting, because people need to see him on the top of his game, because he's just that damn good.
No, he's polished. He's great at what he does. The fact that he's still working these shows as well, too, coming in and, giving the rub to someone like Milo Mirra is fantastic to see as well. It was great. Great all around. Well done by these two gentlemen. Next matchup, we had.
Can I ask
Paul.
a quick question before we go on? I think you guys might know better than me, but as far as WWE ID goes, we've seen two chaotic regulars receive those contracts, from Ricky Smokes to Aaron Rourke. How many other people from around that area? There's three that have gotten those contracts.
Jariel Rivera just got his a couple weeks ago. Yeah. 2 shows ago, Jariel Rivera got his. In the New England area, Notorious Mimi, she was a former NXT star, Sloane Jacobs, but she just got ID'd when she was wrestling Laney Luck at Beyond Wrestling on Monday. Starboy Charlie was just here from the West Coast, and he got ID'd when he beat, because the scuttlebutt was that Starboy Charlie was getting ID'd win or lose against his match against Cappuccino Jones, but he beat Cappuccino Jones and is now the new men's ID champion. But yeah, there's 3 that are definitely local, like the chaotic run locals, with Jariel Rivera getting his, Ricky Smokes now being on NXT and being an NXT tag team champion. And then we also have Aaron Rourke, who's a Creative Pro guy, but we still consider him one of ours.
Yeah. So that to anyone watching or listening, that kind of gives you an idea of the prestige of a promotion like Chaotic, that the big companies really keep their eyes on the indie company such as Chaotic, because it's in an area of big population density, and then just a lot of excellent talent coming up through their training academy, and from that whole area. Just goes to show what a big and important promotion Chaotic is.
Yeah, good.
And again, that's part of that is also that you've got the connection from, especially with WWE specifically, for years and years, because the New England Pro Wrestling Academy is a shoot. It's taken off after the Killer Kowalski Wrestling Training School, which is where the Chaotic Stars would train before Nepwa. When Killer Kowalski was still around and his wrestling school was still around, that was their partner promotion. So WWE has always been big into the chaotic talents. Ivar, Kofi Kingston, Tommaso Ciampa. Trying to think. There's a couple other names that I can't remember off the top of my head that have all come through Chaotic that have ended up there. So
yeah, Triple H himself came out of Kowalski's school.
Yeah, Triple H and China both trained at the Kowalski school, but they weren't part of Chaotic. But they're more people from the area training in that area. So yeah, the Nepwa and the Killer Kowalski School of Pro Wrestling is definitely places that WWE's always looked. So Chaotic is one of those promotions that, for the 20+ year history that they've been around, they've had the eyes on it, because in the beginning, a lot of the talent was coming out of Kowalski. And if Killer Kowalski was giving you the rub and giving you the, the training, you were going to at least get a look from somebody from Connecticut, because that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep.
Oh yeah. All right, next up on this card, guys, we got the Mill City Melee. We got the team unit. It's JT Dunn, Danny Miles, Matt Logan, and Dakota Daniel taking on the Chaotic OGs, Chase Del Monte, Trigga the OG, Eddie Edwards, and Ed's favorite wrestler on the planet, Alisha Edwards, in this matchup. It was an interesting matchup. Again, there's a lot of people involved, a lot of stuff going on. Not typically my favorite type of matchup, but there's a lot of good to be said here because there's a lot of good people involved. But I see that big smile when I said Alisha Edwards there, and I want to go over to Ed and get his opinions on this matchup.
I'm still twitching from having to, and not only was it bad enough that Alisha was in the match, Chaotic's putting her, like the commentators are putting her over like she's God's gift to women's wrestling. She's a 3-time women's champion. Yes, but that's not a part of the history we try to remember. Look, Lish is getting better. Like, people forget how long she's been around. Like, When Samoa Joe got signed to NXT, I was at a show in the area that Lish was on. Like, she's been wrestling that long.
Yep.
That and like, she's so much better now than she has been in the past. And I love to give her shit because she's not the most talented in-ring wrestler. The things I'll give Alisha Edwards, she will do everything and anything asked of her with no questions, no qualms, and she puts herself out there. She is an entire character from the moment she sees the crowd to the moment she goes behind that curtain. She is animated. She is a character. I adore the work that Alisha Edwards puts into when being out at ringside. She is fantastic. Her in-ring work may be a bit suspect, but I give her all the credit in the world for the things that she does and the things that the way she works. Like I said, her in-ring skills aren't the greatest, but then again, she wasn't the worst person in the match. So A+ to her for that one, because we did have a celebrity in this match. Because the one thing that Bobby didn't mention and hasn't mentioned yet all night, and I was surprised he didn't mention, is that the entire Cold Fury show was sponsored by Merc Clan. Merc Clan is a gaming group that JT Dunn is a part of. He's a co-owner of, and the owner of the show, of it, is Dakota Daniels. He's the guy who basically runs the show over there. Him and JT are in business together, and they were the name sponsors on this. It's not his first time on the show. He was a small part of the show before, where he got into Chase's face and took Chase down during one of Danny Miles and JT Dunn's like 3-part series that they had for the world title a couple of years ago. He's not bad. He's good. He knows how to do the basic bumps. We've all seen a celebrity match. That's basically what he does. He's a big, imposing son of a bitch, though.
Yep.
Especially when they pair him with Alisha. When they pair him with Alisha, it's so much fun because he's up here and Alisha's out here. It's barely at his belly, and it's hysterical because she's tiny. I wish it were just a full, like, melee 4 people versus 4 people and not a tag team match like they made. It's a Mill City melee. It should just be 8 people going at it, going nuts, going crazy. I didn't love the fact that it was a tag team match. However, I will never dislike a JT Dunn match because JT Dunn and Danny Miles are fantastic. JT told me I had to say nice things. I would have said nice things anyways because I adore the work that JT Dunn does. But I was in his stream the other day as he was opening Pokemon cards and playing some Arc Raiders. But no, JT is so good, and it was great to see Matt Logan back. You know, he brought it up in the video package again. Video package, yay! A+ video package, talking about Matt Logan and talking about how they did a 25th anniversary show over the late last year, and Chase is part of his old group. And Chase didn't bother to call him. He called his brother. The other Logan was at that show, but for some reason, Brian didn't get the call. And I'm like, that's great. That's a great way to build this show and build that thing. Because there's no reason why Matt Logan should be teaming with JT Dunn, because that's not a partnership that works. But because of the fact that he's mad at Chase, it makes this work. And again, Chase is so good at being that goofy heel that everything he does is fantastic. The outfits he has, where he has them in the baseball jerseys instead of letting them use their ring attire, where, it's just chef's kiss. All of this is so good and so fun. And you've got Eddie Edwards. Like, Eddie Edwards is so talented. He really is. And the fact that nobody's really given him the opportunity to be as good as he can be on some of these other levels, whether it be TNA, whether it be TNA before, in the old days where he was there with the American Wolves, like, he's just never got that opportunity to be that star that he can be. He's always in a group with other people, and he needs to be the star of those groups. And I think he's finally going to be that with this new system where they've got Bear Bronson and they've got him and they've got Myers. Like, that's the kind of group with him and Cedric. That's the kind of group where Eddie can be the lead and Eddie can be the star. And Eddie was one of the best in this match. I mean, Take your pick. Is it JT Dunn? Is it Eddie Edwards? Is it Matt Logan? It's one of the three of them that's the best standout in this match. But this whole match is great. I wish it was 4-on-4 the whole time. I didn't love the tag aspect of it because I don't love big tag matches. I don't like once you get past 6-man tags, it kind of loses itself because it's just rotate guy in, do a couple things, rotate guy out, work for hot tag, call it a day. And again, that's mostly all tag team wrestling is, but when it's 2 guys, it's a whole lot more meaningful than when it's 4 people.
And if there's no disqualification, if there's no disqualification, why bother having tags? Is the ref supposed to come over there and not allow a tag if the guy on the apron isn't holding the tag rope? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. So what we're saying is
weird. Like weapons were allowed, but you had to follow tag team rules. It was just an odd little cluster.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is if we're gonna go full clusterfuck, go full clusterfuck on these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, your thoughts though, Pop Smokes, on the match as a whole.
Yeah, didn't love it. Found it a bit of a mess, but I love some of the talent in this match, including Dunn and Miles and Eddie Edwards. I'm glad you guys talked about him already. There's not much I can add to that. But the last time I watched him wrestle, Munson, was a couple of years ago when he did a run in MLW. Quite effective in that run too, and they had him as a hard-working babyface kind of thing, and little video packages about how hard he was training in the dojo and all that stuff. He's a handsome guy. You can make a good babyface out of this dude. He's a very good ring worker. He's got some personality. He can talk to some extent. I think there's a whole lot of talent there, but like Ed was saying, he's never really hit it out of the park yet or had that big opportunity or that idea to tweak his persona where it gets over on a larger scale to the fans.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you guys more. And it's a lot of great talent in there, but it is a bit of a mess. But yeah, a lot of great people involved, including, like you said, props to Eddie Edwards. We know how great a worker he is, and we want to see more of him and more of a lot of these people in this matchup in particular. Then we got to see a whole lot of people in there.
Sorry, I thought we were going to move on. Before we did, I just want to talk about. I love the spots in this match. JT Dunn doing the Destroyer off the chair, I thought was really cool. The setting up of all the OG setting up all the doors that they end up all going through the doors because of it. I love the Chekhov's door where they have all the doors and they're the ones that end up going through them all. And the way they do it, it's a spot fest. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of, silly, goofy stuff. But at the end of the day, that works. That's what professional wrestling is. We're watching guys and girls wrestle in their underwear. Like, it's silly and dumb.
And it was a break from the other types of matchup that were on the card as well, too. So it did give us something different. What we got, it was very different on the next one. We got a whole lot of look into the depth of the roster at Chaotic Wrestling because we got the Who's Up Next Battle Royal to determine the next future Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Championship opponent. So here are some of the names we had in this one. We had King BMT. We had the Breadwinners, which is Cash McGinnis and Patrick. Oh, hold on. Yeah, say it, Patrick. There we go. All right. Then we had, get this, Ed will love this. We had B3 in the matchup. Aaron Ortiz and Anthony Vecchio pulling double duty as their other tag team B3 in this one. Calvin Dumont. We had Godric, Shizo Kuza, I believe it is. Bobby Casali. Is it Casali?
Bobby
Casal. Okay, Casal, sorry. Omar Lacasa, Livia, Sidney Bakabella was in this matchup.
Yeah.
What the fuck is I'm gonna ask you, Ed, what the fuck's a banana girl after this? We're gonna go to that in a minute.
No.
DJ.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. We had DJ Powers, we had the Monarchy, Queen Ariel, and Prince Jamari, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Okay. Then and that was who in this match. But please go enlighten me, Ed. A banana girl. What is the deal here?
So I've talked about with you guys how at every show there's a girl who wears the banana suit, and she always has silly signs, and they're always pointed at the Monarchy. There's a reason for this. It's Ariel and BMT's daughter.
Okay. Oh, crazy.
Yeah, this is one of their kids.
Yeah.
And so
All right.
they brought her into this. This isn't the first time. She was involved in one of the matches at some point before too, where she's gotten involved a little bit. And again, in a match like this, coming off the intermission, it's a time where you can kind of do something silly like this, where you can have her in this match, and especially when you're having her work, opposite DJ Powers and what's his name, Calvin Dumont. Like, when you're having her work with them, it's the perfect opportunity to bring someone like her into this, because those are people that you can trust to have some fun with her, do the things you need to do, and then safely put her down on the outside so she doesn't get hurt. And so nobody can. And again, the fact that her father and her mother are workers in the match, can keep an eye on her to make sure she's okay, things like that. I was surprised to see Calvin working heel here, because a couple weeks ago I shocked Bobby to death when I said, hey, I'm at a chaotic show and they're trying to turn Calvin heel babyface. And it was working. People were cheering for Calvin Dumont.
Oh, so odd. So very odd.
So here's what I'm going to say about this match. Here's what I'm going to say about this match, and then I'll let you guys talk about it. One, it's great to see Omar La Casa again, because I love this Rico Suave, chubby guy. I think he's great. He has my energy. He does the exact type of thing that I would do if I were given a wrestling gimmick, so I think it's hysterical. Seeing Sidney Bakabella in a wrestling ring as a competitor, chef's kiss, fantastic. It's great.
Yeah.
No notes. And again, just having the ability to see Bobby Casale. I want to see more of him, Chaotic. Stop giving him the short end of the stick. He is so good. If you've seen him in Create a Pro, if you've seen him in Wrestle Pro, there's a couple other places he's at that he works where he gets the time and the effort to really get in there. He's working beyond wrestling with the Stetson Ranch right now, and he's really good. He's a former MMA fighter, and he's more than for his own career as an MMA fighter, he is the corner man and the sparring partner for some of the bigger names currently. Like when he was doing it, for some of the bigger names, he was a sparring partner for some of them. So like he's well respected in the community when it comes to the MMA side. So I just want to see more of him and more of the type of guy he can be. But I think they gave him the good big guy treatment in this match that I thought was really fun.
No, and again, like going back to what you were saying about Banana Girl, like I think it's fun when you can put someone like that in a battle royal, especially if it makes sense to the local crowd. I just knew there had to be a story behind it, and I do remember you mentioning that now, but it didn't quite catch on in the matchup as I was watching it. But at the same time, a lot of fun. Again, a lot of fun with a lot of people in this match. I thought it was hilarious that King BMT eliminated his own wife and Prince Jamari from the matchup in this one on his way to victory as well too. Like, I don't know. I don't think I was gambling that King BMT was coming out on top, even though I am a fan. I do enjoy his work a lot. I'm happy to see it too. I wouldn't have called it going into this thing. I thought they would have pulled the trigger on somebody else, but no, King BMT coming out on top. I like battle royals. They're fun. They're gimmicky. They're goofy at times, but they're a good way to get a lot of names out there and just have something different on a card. So I enjoyed this battle royal. I thought it was great. Over to you, Papa Smokes.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty all right also. And you kind of knew the likely wrestlers that were possible to win this thing, because they had a lot of kind of lower card talent on it, and then a few wrestlers that could maybe be seen in a main event somewhere. So you knew that somebody with a name was going to win it. The rest of the people in this battle royal were either for fun or inexperienced rookies out there getting some reps, which is also very, very important to do, to get your young guys on the card and in a match in front of the crowd. Banana Girl popped for her, pretty funny. She did a nice stunner. And then even her elimination, she went out pretty, wouldn't say violently, but it was not the easy treatment. She hit the floor pretty hard and was just fine with that, so that's cool. But the real story coming out of this battle royal is possible cracks in the monarchy. You could see that some people weren't too happy with their eliminations there, with BMT coming out on top. So we'll see what happens with that. Isn't that always the thing in a tag team or a faction? When one of the members gets that title shot, what are the other members going to be thinking? Is there the jealousy? Is there some kind of strained feelings within the faction? We're going to see in the future, obviously, but setting something up there for sure.
Yeah, curious to see how it pans out. Curious to see what happens when King BMT goes up against the champion, whoever that may be. We'll find out shortly. Up next, we got Jariel Rivera taking on Big Cheese, Tony Navarro. God damn you guys and your food references in all of these different, all these different wrestlers. I get so goddamn hungry watching chaotic wrestling. I wish we had a food sponsor here. This would be a perfect segue. But yes, the Big Cheese taking on Jariel Rivera. And again, Jariel Rivera is excellent. Tony Navarro keeps entertaining me each and every time I watch him. I keep getting some good entertainment from this guy. He's fun. He's got some good skill in the ring. The crowd's behind him. This was, again, a good way to break up what we had just seen with the Battle Royal, knowing that we were going to go into another multi-person matchup for the main event. So I thought this was a good matchup to put on in between a Battle Royal and the main event that we're about to talk about. Like this one, Jariel Rivera picking up the win. Going to go to you first here, Papa Smokes, on this one.
Sure, I like this match also for some of the reasons you just outlined, that this card kind of vacillated between multi-person gimmick matches and then serious one-on-one competitive matches in between. This one was approximately 8 minutes long, so kind of like a TV match from the old days. They put a very popular fan favorite, Tony Navarro, in against one of their big prospects, more than a prospect, Jariel Rivera. He's just looking like more than $1 million in the ring there. They want to showcase him. They want to put him up against a local talent, or I don't know if he's local or not, but he's popular amongst the local crowd. And just basically a platform to make Rivera look awesome, which is exactly what happened. I like Rivera. He's caught my eye before, mostly because of his Adonis-like physique. He really, really looks good. We've talked about the body guys before, body guys and girls, of course, but when you've put all that dedication, all that time, and all that work into your appearance and your body, you're already over when you walk out from behind that curtain to a certain extent, right? You look so good and you look like a wrestler. That's what this guy looks like. He almost doesn't have to do anything. He's got, his presentation is so strong. So putting him in there against the Big Cheese, he doesn't have to do that much. But you got to give him the pinfall victory in this, which is what they did. So an 8-minute match where it's just, let's put Rivera up on the pedestal. Let's give him a win against a popular local opponent. And there you go. There's the WWE ID guy looking awesome and getting over in front of the fans. Putting this match as a semi-main event here too is a nice touch also, because it's showing the fans, hey, Rivera is one of the next big guys in this company.
I don't hear Papa Smokes anymore. Is that?
Oh, neither do I. I wasn't sure if it was me.
Okay.
I think we've lost your audio there, Papa Smokes.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're back. You're back. You're back with us. So yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know where I cut out, but at any rate, putting this match as the semi-main event is a nice platform for showing the world, hey, we've got one of the next big signees to the large companies in Rivera. He looks completely awesome. Let's show him off. 8-minute match. He gets the win. Boom. The Chaotic puts on another excellent spectacle right before the main event.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
So this was a match that was supposed to take place in February at one of their shows. And the winner was going to get the ID contract. And then Tony Navarro got hurt and wasn't able to make the match. So they had to sub in somebody else, and Rivera got the win. So this is kind of a make-do on that match that they had kind of already promised the crowd. So it was like, well, we're going to do it anyways here. And they had the time and they had the space to do it. I love Jariel Rivera, the divine design, the God's greatest creation. That the GGC was him originally, and then it's formed into so many other things when he got hurt. But this whole divine design idea of him is great. As Papa Smoke says, he looks like $1 million, but he can wrestle. And so many of these guys that look that good can't do the in-ring work. And the great thing I love about Jariel Rivera is that he can do the in-ring work. He can be on the microphone. He can look like $1 million. He has the total package. They just need to help elevate him. And that's what the ID program that's going to do. It's going to get him out there into different areas of the country to help get him doing his thing. It's going to get him on WWE Evolve. It's going to get him over there where he can learn the WWE style of television wrestling and really up that game. And then being at the Performance Center and being able to take classes with some of those great professionals that they have down there at the PC is always going to be good too. Like, say what you want about WWE, and trust me, we have said a lot of things about WWE. The one thing they can do is teach you how to do the things you need to do to be a star. They can do that. They have the ability. They have the ability, and they have the people. That PC is full of people like Norman Smiley, of people like Shawn Michaels, of people like, what's his name?
Dr. Tom.
No, Dr. Tom works out of his own wrestling school now. He doesn't do that anymore.
Okay.
But I was thinking of the guy from ECW in Ring of Honor. He was the announcer for Ring of Honor for a while too, with Ian Riccaboni. I can't think of his name. You guys talk. I'll figure out the name in a minute.
All right. Yeah. No. Well, while Ed's figuring that out, we can maybe start segueing into our final match of the night, or better known as our main event of the evening. This match scheduled for one fall. And it is a fatal 4-way matchup for the Chaotic Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Yes, the champion Armani Kayos with manager Sidney Bakabella took on Mortar, former champion Brad Hollister, and Tyree Taylor. Again, when we go over to Ed, I want to get a little bit more backstory here. Bakabella now with Armani Kayos. Armani Kayos is the champion. Last time out that we reviewed here on the channel, Mortar was still the champion at this point. Mortar had a rough go in this particular matchup on this night here. Armani Kayos has always looked great. Speaking of great, Bobby Stats is in the house. Always great to have you here, my friend. But yes, we had the two of them, but also Brad Hollister and Tyree Taylor, excellent in this matchup as well. I thought, again, not huge on these fatal 4-way matchups, but I do like these guys, and I did like this one. This one, actually, surprisingly, for all the fatal 4-ways we've seen lately, this was one of the better ones I've seen in a while. Armani Kayos still remaining the champion, but Pop Smokes, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. I find 4-ways just a little bit too busy usually for my taste, but this was well done. Of course, it became a 3-way after a little while here, but
yeah.
Last time I watched, Armani Kayos was not the champion. Mortar was, so that's a big change. I like him. I think he's very talented and all that. I still think he looks just a little bit too green as a performer to be at the very top of the card, especially in a big company like Chaotic. But we're going to see. This is the only appearance I've seen of him so far. I will watch more and see if that opinion changes. But one of the big things in this match for me was Tyree Taylor. Wasn't familiar with this guy. He comes in as a big, strong cement truck of a man, and he got put over big time in this match, like what they did with him. All the other 3 guys in this match tried to knock him over at the beginning of this match, tried to move him. No one could. He's too strong to be moved until Mortar gets going. Oh, look at this. Mortar can move him. Oh, and he knocks him down a few times. Sidney Bakabella decides to put his hands on Tyree Taylor. Bad idea. Now Bakabella is on his ass outside the ring. So Tyler going over as a big powerhouse, putting him at the top of the card like this, I expect to see a whole bunch of him in the future up towards the main event of the card. There were a few nice big moves on this. Taylor or should I say, Bacon gave a superplex on Taylor and somebody else, a two-man superplex that had some impact to it. Tyree Taylor did a two-man. I want to say Falcon Arrow, but it was kind of like John Cena's move, the FU, like off of the shoulders like that. Ooh, that looked dangerous as well, but a great spot, had huge impact. The sound from that in the middle of the ring it just sounded so great live. Tyree Taylor has an awesome sit-down power bomb that he hit just perfectly in this match too. That looked awesome. But the real question being about Mortar, he was working a knee injury in the beginning of this match. Had done a little flip off the ropes and was favoring that knee. But then, in true irony, of course, he does end up injuring his leg for real. Hope that isn't serious. Always kind of get a really creepy feeling when you can see that there's an injury during the match that isn't a work. And I really hope the best for Mortar because he's grown on me a lot. I like him even more now that he's not totally gimmicked out in his face paint and stuff. I like him as a straight up bulldozer tough guy, and I hope he's okay. But in this match, we had Armani Kayos going over, defending his title again, so they're going to stick with him at the top for a while, and we'll see where this goes.
You bet. Yeah. Ed, little background on this and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I can fill in some of the blanks here. Armani Kayos worked with John Walters in a tag team match about 8 months ago when Sidney Bakabella was working with John Walters. And Walters walked out on Bakabella because Bakabella kept screwing up his matches, even though Walters just kept losing. So he blamed it all on Bakabella before he walked out. And for some reason, they just kind of paired Armani with Bakabella and turned Sidney babyface at the same time. And I don't love it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it is what it is. They work well as an odd couple, like manager pairing. It grows on me every time I see it. I don't like it, but it grows on me every time I see it. Mortar lost. So Mortar put himself in the Pandemonium match number 1. So the Pandemonium match is their January, like their Royal Rumble show, but instead it's a 6-person elimination match. And it's like a gauntlet. People come in and you have to be the last one standing. And Chase was screwing with him, so he said, screw it. You know what? I'm going to put the title on the line in Pandemonium as opposed to giving the winner of Pandemonium the opportunity to main event against me at Cold Fury. I'm just going to put the title on the line inside Pandemonium. And he lost that match. And since then, he's gone fucking batshit crazy. He's been working heel ever since. He knocked down Jolisa, the ringside attendant, at one show. That's his fiance. So there was a whole thing about that. At one point here, he was dressed essentially like Bandito, where he had the little hat on. That was a nod to Bandito, who works over in AEW. Mortar's great. I love Mortar. I think he's fantastic. I love heel Mortar because I think it gives him a little bit of a backbone, a little bit of ability to be a bit of a dickhead. Which I think a guy who does the style that he works, I think you can easily work babyface or heel with that gimmick. So I think that it really works for him. I will never say enough good things about Tyree Taylor. Every time I see this guy, he's one of my favorites. I wish he would do meet and greets at these shows because every time he's been in a show that I've been at, he's not been doing a meet and greet, and it makes me sad because I want to meet him because I love everything he does. He is that big, beefy, burly son of a bitch who just does the big man things and does them so well. But he reminds me of like an Ivar because he's not a big guy who just does big guy things. He does the aerial stuff too. Like he doesn't do it as good as Ivar does, but he's on that same level. And him grabbing Rich and being like, say my name again. I didn't like the way you said it. Like, I don't like seeing people like touch Rich, but I like the way he's doing it. Like, they're portraying him since he came back of being a little bit of a lunatic, a bit of a monster. Every time he hears the word monster, he kind of loses his mind a little bit. It's great. Big Bacon, Brad Hollister working as Mr. Bacon. Those are gimmicks that just work. Like that whole I'm the arrogant teacher, like dressing like a teacher, doing the whole Dean Douglas style thing. Those gimmicks always work. They're fantastic. They're heat magnets because everybody hates the people like this. So you instantly draw heat with it, no matter how good or bad you are at it. And he's really, really good at it. And he's really talented in the ring too. So that helps work with the gimmick as well. I love Armani Kayos. I know Papa Spoon says he's a bit green in the ring. I don't see it. I love everything Armani does. I think he's fantastic. My biggest thing about this match and what I want to see coming out of it is how does Armani deal with Sidney using the fireball on Tyree Taylor? That's what I need to know, because taking Tyree out of this match and making it a triple threat at the end when Mortar comes back in. So it was a 4-person, then Mortar gets pulled out with the injury, so it becomes a triple threat. And then Mortar comes back and Tyree goes out with the fireball. I like how they did that. It helps make the clusterfuck of a 4-man a little bit more easy to deal with. And also the fact that they weren't just 2 guys in the ring the whole time. Me and Asher have talked about this, and I talk about this with Bobby every time. I love when you don't just do a multi-person match with 2 guys in the ring, 2 guys on the outside, and then you rotate them in. Yes, for portions of this match, that's what it was. But for when they get to that triple threat, they really kind of make it more, they work them all in. The injury spot works really well with, Sidney coming in and stopping the match and getting in the way and really helping put over the injury gimmick, which I don't think he's actually hurt. I think he's working the crowd here. Ironically, because somebody on this show did get hurt and they haven't worked since this show, and that's Shannon LeVangie, who came out of this seemingly unscathed and had to pull out of shows because she's injured right now.
Wow.
So it's just, it is what it is. I like this. It's a fun main event. I think there's money to be made with Armani Kayos, and the things he does very well. And I like what he does, and I like the character, and I like the gimmick, and I like the vibe. And I thought these 4 are 4 vastly different people doing 4 vastly different gimmicks that all are doing it at a really high level, because none of them are the same. And you've got 3 heels and 1 babyface, and all 3 heels feel like different types of heels. And how often do you get that on the independent scene where you have 3 different types of heels going against 1 babyface in the same match?
Yeah. And keep it interesting. That's the other point. Yeah. So no, but overall, I mean, the match was good. The card was great as always. I don't think Cold Fury ever disappoints at all. This was a solid card. It is available on YouTube, so go check out Chaotic Wrestling over on YouTube and check out Cold Fury. Let them know the Video Bros and Ol'Ed sent you over there. But yeah, quickly, Bob Spokes, your final thoughts on Cold Fury.
Can't say enough good about Chaotic. I've been so much enjoying watching these shows since we've been covering them, thanks to Ed's recommendation in the first place, of course. But like we said a million times, this is one of the top independent companies in North America. So if you get the chance to watch it, watch what they're doing. They run an indie show like a Cadillac engine run. It's smooth. It's well thought out. They've got a deep roster. They've got all different kinds of wrestlers at different stages in their careers, from the rookies coming out of the training camps to some of the indie stars that they bring in, and then some of the regular mainstays of the company. It's solid. It's good. The booking is good. The venue is good, and I love watching Chaotic and Cold Fury, one of their big shows of the year. Always a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to watching and covering more of their stuff.
Hell yeah. No, Bobby Richard Holiday wasn't on this particular card for Chaotic. Ed, your final thoughts on Cold Fury this year?
Another fantastic show. I'm sad I missed it live. I missed the ticket drop when they announced the tickets, and by the time I saw it, the front row tickets were gone. And I'm a front row kind of guy when I'm at an indie show. If I'm not sitting front row, I'm not going.
That's fair.
There's just something special about being front row at an indie show. Like you don't get the same vibe sitting in the second row. So, but no, I love Chaotic. This was a fun show. Ironically, something fun to say. I started this show when we started the show at 3 times speed just to keep myself up. I'm at 2 hours and 40 minutes into this 2 hour and 52-minute show at 3 times speed in just the time we've been doing this. The other thing I want to mention here is something that we skipped over a little bit, and I just wanted to say it. I loved the Hall of Fame segment. I don't know if you guys actually watched it, but they had Jamie Jamakowski come back out. And I loved hearing about the ref Mark. And I love that story from Jamie talking about how this is the guy who kind of like it was his right-hand man for the entire time, and how none of this would have been what it was if it wasn't for him. And I love the fact that at these shows, a company that's 25 years in is giving their flowers to some of these former employees and people who are, part of the promotion and telling us that, these indie shows don't just rely on the talent, that it's the fan base and the people behind the scenes that make all of this happen. And it's nice to see them being like, these are people who are important to us. And these aren't the names of like the biggest stars in the company. Like these are people who this show was 2 backstage guys who did a lot of work backstage, printing up flyers and things like that. And one of them worked for Jamie Jamakowski on his day job and was like, sorry, boss, I can't do what you need because I have to get the stuff ready for the Chaotic show. And I'm like, that's a Munson level guy. Like that's a guy who's like putting off his day job to get the PPW show stuff done. Not that Bobby Munson would ever do that, but I'm saying that's the kind of guy Munson would be. But Munson always does the job that he's supposed to do when he's on the job. I don't want to slander Bobby Munson and get him in trouble with the bosses, but
Don't worry, my boss is a PPW fan. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but no, with that said, Cold Fury, awesome as always. Go check them out over on YouTube at Chaotic Wrestling, of course. Just quickly, what we got coming up here on Ring Respect Radio over the next 2 weeks. I alluded to it earlier, coming out of the PPW Academy. He's had 3 matches under his belt, including 2 victories, one over Morris Waltz, and a last show out, pinning the Mexican Devil, El Asesino, Soup Nasty from the PPW Academy, joining us next week right here on Ring Respect Radio as we do our... Yeah, I knew you'd love that one, Ed. But he's going to be here next week to talk all about his time in the academy, his fierce few matches in with Prairie Pro Wrestling, and what's coming up next for Soup Nasty. So stay tuned next week to join us for that all PPW special. But a week after that, our good friends over in New Zealand at SPW, Southern Pro Wrestling, they're back for the year, and you can go check out now Fight for Gold 2026, available on their YouTube channel, and we're going to bringing that 2 weeks from tonight. We're going to be bringing you the review of SPW's Fight for Gold 2026. But in the meantime and in between time, we want to find out, where can the people find Ed next, and where can they reach out to you?
You can find me at all the usual places, Ed Fries 12584 on Twitter and Blue Sky, twitch.tv/Ed Fries for my Marvel Talk content. We'll be back every Wednesday, we won't be back every anything right now, as we're trying to figure out how to make Marvel Talk work, because the best spot for us is the slot where this show goes on, because Andre is 2 hours behind me. So we can't go on too early, but we can't go on too late because Peggy's an hour behind. Plus with wrestling shows, it just doesn't really work very well. And of course, Peggy does her Wednesday watch-alongs with Perio Magazine, where they do their AEW watch-along. So our Wednesday night slot doesn't work anymore either. So we're finding our spots. We just did our first episode today, talking about episode 1 of Daredevil. We'll have something up at some point next week. Watch the social medias. We'll let you know once we decide what we're doing, whether we go live on a Friday night with me and Andre, whether we do all 3 of us recording on a Thursday night and having that show air on a Friday night. We will let you know once we know. But Marvel Talk will be back to cover all of the Daredevil Born Again Season 2 stuff. Right after that, we got Punisher One Last Kill. Then we got Spider-Man Noir coming up. And then after that, we got Brand New Day for Spider-Man in July. All kinds of Marvel Talk stuff coming up. And of course, taking over. We didn't have an episode this week. We should be back, I believe, this upcoming week. But again, watch social medias. We'll have more information on that once we know exactly what's going on with that as well.
Fantastic. Now, the show's going to cost me money because that beautiful ticker of Papa Smokes is on the screen. He's going to let you know where you can find them.
Yeah, all right. I'm here every Thursday on Ring Respect Radio, hosted by OLE Podcast and the Video Bros Network. Other than that, I can be found on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I'm at smokes_papa and also allegedly on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
All right. As for myself, Bobby Munson, over on the X Real Bobby Munson, Instagram, Threads, Video Bros SK, Twitch, it's Video Bro _Bobby Munson, and Blue Sky is Bobby Munson, BSKY.social. What I got coming up next, you can join me this Sunday with Andre, 11 a.m. Eastern Time for Point of View, talking about the week in sports. You can also catch myself and Papa Smokes over on Prairie Pro Wrestling Saturday afternoon with a brand new matchup coming at you. You can also catch me with Astrid. I don't know the release just yet, but we are either recording or going live or coming up with something. We will have our review of Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, coming up on the channel this weekend here for you. So stay tuned for that as well. But if you enjoyed the show here tonight, you found it at OLE Podcast potentially, go check us out on all social media at OLE Podcast and on YouTube and Twitch over at Our Local Establishment. You can also do a lot of great things here. We can do super chats as a partner here on YouTube. We can do super stickers as a partner. We also got those great options over on the Twitch side. But if you happen to be doing like this, watch it on a mobile the day after, if you're watching on replay 24 hours or more after, once this video stream has processed, you have the ability to provide hype points. Hype points, you have 3 times a week that you can give some of your favorite creators hype points to push them up the hype charts. And we want you to share that love right here on the channel with your favorite shows on OLE Podcast. Share those hype points with us and help us get up the hype charts so we can be seen by more eyes and get some better, even crazier audiences to join the live experience here with us. That's all we got for you this week. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next Thursday night for more Ring Respect Radio.